The brave rancher, Ethan Cole, woke before dawn as he always did, the cold breath of the frontier clinging to the wooden walls of his modest ranch house. But this morning carried a strange stillness that pressed against his chest, like an unspoken promise. For the storms of the past months, raids, rumors, and loneliness had carved deep lines into his once hopeful heart. And though he was known across the plains as a man of grit and honor, few knew the quiet sacrifices he had made to protect travelers, lost children, and even strangers who crossed Apache land seeking safety. And as the pale sunlight crept through the window, Ethan sensed something was different before his eyes even opened, a presence not threatening but steady, breathing softly. And when he finally turned his head, his world shifted, because seated calmly near the hearth was a woman unlike any he had ever seen, her dark hair flowing like a midnight river over a woven blanket, her posture dignified yet gentle, eyes sharp with intelligence, but softened by an emotion he could not name. And in that instant, fear and wonder collided within him as memories rushed back of the night before, how he had found an injured Apache group ambushed by bandits, how he had fought alone to defend them, refusing reward, refusing thanks, believing only that doing right mattered more than survival itself. And now this woman, dressed in traditional Apache clothing, adorned with symbols of the earth and sky, rose slowly and spoke his name in careful English, explaining that she was Ayana, daughter of a respected Apache leader, sent not as a prize, but as a bond of gratitude and trust, because among her people honor was answered with honor, and life debts were sacred. And though Ethan tried to protest, she silenced him with a quiet strength, telling him that she chose this path willingly, that she had heard stories of the lone rancher whose courage never sought applause, whose kindness never asked for witnesses. And as the fire crackled between them, he realized this was not a reward but a turning point, one that would reshape both their lives. And as they spoke through the morning, exchanging fragments of pain and hope, Ethan felt something awaken inside him, a reminder that stories like his, stories of bravery, respect, and unexpected destiny, were worth being told, worth being remembered, the kind of tale people would gather around to hear again and again, as if subscribing themselves to the unfolding journey of two souls brought together not by conquest, but by courage and choice. The days that followed tested both Ethan and Ayana in ways neither could have foreseen, for the frontier was unforgiving to those who dared defy its unspoken rules. And whispers traveled fast across saloons and trading posts that an Apache woman now lived on Cole's land. Yet instead of fear, something else began to grow, curiosity, then quiet respect, as travelers who stopped by the ranch found warmth, wisdom, and protection within its borders. For Ayana was not merely a presence, but a force, teaching Ethan the language of the land, the patience of listening before acting, and the strength that comes from understanding rather than dominance. While Ethan showed her the burdens of solitude, the cost of standing alone for what is right, and together they faced threats from men who saw difference as weakness, standing side by side when outlaws tried to burn the ranch, when old grudges surfaced like ghosts demanding blood, and in each moment of danger, their bond deepened not through words, but through shared resolve, until one night, beneath a sky painted with endless stars, Ayana told Ethan that her people now spoke his name with respect, that children would grow up hearing of the rancher who chose honor over fear, and she asked him if he understood the true meaning of the path he had accepted. And as he looked at her, at the life they were building between two worlds, he realized that bravery was not waking up to an unexpected reward, but choosing every day to protect what fate had placed in his care. And as their story spread across the plains, carried by travelers who felt something rare in its telling, it became the kind of legend people wanted to follow, to return to stay connected with as it continued beyond a single telling. Because some stories do not end, they invite you to walk alongside them, to witness how love, born of respect, can outlast violence, how unity can rise where division once ruled, And as Ethan and Ayanna stood together, watching the sunrise over the open land, they knew their journey had only begun, a living story meant to be followed, remembered, and shared by those who believe that courage still matters in a changing world.